Free Mike here. We are making watermelon infused, well, cannabis infused watermelon candies today, hard candies. So let's do this. So I got everything ready. Here is 1.5 cups of infused light corn syrup. How you doing today, Russell? What are you guys smoking on? Anything good? Hey guys! Doing some watermelon infused candy today. Because I don't know how it happened, but I got a phone call this morning saying that we are completely out of edibles at the dispensary, which is crazy. We should not be out of edibles yet. This is 1/3 cup of infused butter. So I use infused whipped butter and infused corn syrup. And I infused this with a pretty even dose of indica and sativa. This is 3.5 cups of sugar, plain water. It has a little watermelon flavoring in it. Hey guys, what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna kind of stir this up. Bring you over so we can look in the pot. So I have infused corn syrup and infused butter in here, as well as sugar, water. The only thing I have left to add is the flavoring. So what I'm going to do is mix this really good and start bringing it to a boil. And infused but tired. Yeah, this one will give you kind of a head high as well as a body high. You will get the euphoria with these candies. I use an actual indica and a sativa, so it is a broke up trim of actual sativa and indica. It's not hybrids. So these are two pure indica, or a pure indica and a pure sativa put together to give us a pretty even body, head high pain medicine. This should calm your body down from any of the anxiety, shakes, tremors, things like that. Sorry, stoner moment. Yeah. You know, I think we all have stoner moments at times. I call it chemo fog because I think chemo did more to my memory than anything. So now that I have all of this really good and mixed up, I can actually put my stirrer away and just go ahead and let it boil. So right now you can really smell the cannabis, you can smell the sweetness, you can smell that, but you don't really smell the watermelon yet because I have not added it in to the mix. This is super concentrated watermelon concentrate that I'll be putting in here. So basically I'm going to put this on the stove. I have my candy thermometer in here. I want this to reach about 320 degrees. And I don't want it to reach that fast. I want to do it kind of slow because as it's working its way up, what'll end up happening is it'll boil the water off that I added into the mixture. Boiling that water off allows for the mixture to activate itself and fully infuse without burning it, and that's very important. So we want to keep this between 250 and 300, but I do want it to hit 300 once, and then I'm gonna bring it back down. Hey Kevin, how you doing today? You actually spell my name the way Nikola Tesla spells his name. So that's the male version of Nikola. The female version of Nikola is a C instead of a K. So it's Nicola instead of Nik. So you actually spelled Nikola like Nikola Tesla. So just so you know. And if you ever really have a problem remembering how to pronounce my name, just think of Nikola Tesla. Because we both pronounce it the same way. Well, he did pronounce it my way when he was live. Sorry, I've always been a big Tesla fan. Nikola Tesla fan, not the car. I like cars that go fast. So today when we're doing our candies, everybody has asked me how I make my candies the smaller sizes because finding some of the candy molds are kind of difficult. So for those of us that are using cannabis, that we dab quite often, I'm sure all of us have seen the little containers. So these go straight into the plastic containers. It's just a little silicone thing. Then you have your little silicone containers like this. I use these particular ones. I take and I wash them all up really good. And then I use them as my candy molds. So it's easier. All I have to do is line a cookie sheet with them and then I can put them in each one. Oh, it's no problem, Kevin. Don't worry about it. I just find it interesting. Most people spell my name like Nikola Tesla because he's famous. But it's no worries. No worries at all. Pretty much from this point on, you really don't need to stir too much. You're going to let this roll into a boil. You're going to also keep a very close eye on your thermometer. So I have this set to where I don't want it to go over 314 degrees. Right now it is at 255 degrees. As the steam goes up, you'll see all the water evaporating out of here. And that's when you'll see the temperature start to rise, which is really nice. It gives you a good clean infusion without burning your cannabis. Oh, it smells great. I can't wait to eat it. The smell will be really, really good when I add the watermelon flavoring in on this. Now, for those of you that are kind of watching this and you're like, okay, most people add everything in and cook it and do it the way that they just do it all at one time. The reason why I separate my flavoring away from the rest of my candy mixture when I'm cooking it is because I don't want to burn the flavoring, because you can. The flavoring is very, very easy to burn and to singe, and it doesn't taste very good once you've done that. So you have to be careful. Hi, Kike. English only, sorry. I know a little bit of other languages, but not enough to really do much. So, but one of the things that you'll start noticing with your candy mixture is you're letting it go ahead and boil. You don't need to constantly stir, but you'll see that the mixture inside, the bubbles, will start getting a very clear brown, clean look to it. And that's when you're going to start noticing that the water's pretty much going away, or evaporating out like it's supposed to. You're going to start noticing that your temperature is going to keep going up a little bit more quickly, so you're going to want to keep an eye on that. But again, you do want the mixture to hit 300 degrees once. And by once, it doesn't mean it needs to be in the 300 degrees for a long period of time. A short period of time is fine. So today I'm going to do this a little differently. I'm going to use a few different types of molds. I'm going to use my dab containers as a mold and show you how I do it with that. I'm going to make some bunny butts for Easter with the watermelon candies. And then I'm going to make some squares. So that's basically what I do, is I just get silicone containers. It's easy. I don't have to worry about burning anything. I don't have to worry about melting melting anything into it. It works good. So as you can see, I am nicely putting it in there. You can see that the bubbles are, it's a full boil. It's very clear. We are evaporating that water out of there. We are sitting at about 241 degrees. So at this point, you can just let it sit here and let it cook off. While you're doing that, you can set up your molds in a cookie sheet, especially if you're using your dab containers. It's easier if you set them all out on a cookie sheet first. Now, I always recommend to do it with the plastic or silicone containers, and the reasoning for that is because it's harder to break, they don't melt. With glass, trying to get the candy out, you will break the glass. I've seen it done a million times. So stick with more of a silicone type of a mold. I just do this. Basically what happens is you can just take and pop the candy right out. So it works really, really well. So I just pretty much get my molds ready to go and set them up on the counter. Because once this process gets going and I'm taking the candy off the heat, it's going to cool very quickly. So I need to have my candy area ready to go. So as you can see, I have my area set here. I have these all set out. I have a silicone tray here in case I want to make shatter candy. I'll lay them in here, let it harden, and then break it. That's how you make shatter candy. So that's how I have all of this set up. I don't know if I'll use them all yet, but at least they're there. Keep an eye on my mixture here. Okay, we're sitting at 252 degrees. So we want to hit this to at least 300s one time. So I need to just keep letting it go. I don't need to stir it beyond this point until I put my flavoring in. With this, I'm using super concentrated watermelon flavoring. And all of the directions will be up on the website too, so that you can refer back to the website anytime you need to look at it. With this, I do most of my candies as a heavier infusion, so that I can eat them throughout the day and use them as pain medication. So I use both an infused corn syrup and infused butter in my candies. So I'm looking at about 70 milligrams per piece of candy to make it safe. So it's a decent milligram there. You can eat one, you can eat two, you can eat three, depending on how bad the pain is or how uncomfortable you are. Oh, they're gonna be amazing, cuz wait till I send you some. Because I'm definitely sending you some, or we'll get you over here. We need to get you over here so we can do a video with you, sweetie. Yeah, guys, let her know. There, Miranda Lynn, you tell her she needs to get over here, and we gotta cook. Cuz, get your butt over here. We got some infusions to do. Because I got new stuffs to play with. Check this one out. Ha ha. We're gonna be doing some serious brownie infusions. Woohoo! Yep, so I'm just gonna keep letting it boil. So you'll see the color becomes richer and darker and clearer. It's not a hazy coloring here at all. So I'm just gonna let that go ahead and do what it's gotta do. You really don't need to stir at this point. I am trying to make sure that I get as much of it off of the sides of the pan as possible, because I didn't use my little wet wrap to clean off the sides, so I'm trying to make sure I don't have any crystallization. So that's the only reason why I'm stirring, is to keep my candy from crystallizing. But here, you can see how pretty it is. See the color in there? So these won't be a real red, they'll be kind of a brownish red color, but they will taste yummy. Okay, so we are up to 264 degrees. As you will notice, as the steam starts evaporating, as we have less and less steam, you're gonna notice that my temperature gauge is gonna go up significantly quicker. And that's a good thing, because it's letting me know that I've got most of the water out of my candy and that I will be moving to the next step here soon. I just want to get all of that back in there. So I'm not even going to think about putting my watermelon flavoring into this until I've hit the 300 degrees, possibly 320, and that's when I'm going to put my watermelon flavoring in here, because then I'm just going to let it cook a little while longer and take it off the heat, and it'll be ready to be put into its molds. So we are up to 270. So as you see, as the water keeps evaporating out, the temperature, the less water, the quicker that temperature is going to rise. So once you hit about 250 degrees and you start noticing that it's going to rise, you're going to want to stay with this pot. Don't walk away from it, because I've watched people walk away from these pots at this point, and within 3 minutes, they've burnt it because it's gone well over 320 degrees. We do not want this to ever reach over 320 degrees. If that happens, you will have burned your cannabis in here, and it will have a burnt taste to it. It is not yummy. So be careful. Here we are, less than a minute later, and we're at 282 degrees. So you'll see 284 degrees now. So it does jump pretty significantly quick once we get to this point. Yeah, I can't believe they ran out of edibles. Shame, shame, shame. I mean, I'm glad they ran out. I'm glad people like the edibles, but gotta tell me before we run out. So you'll see how it stays rich and dark. Right now you really get more of the sweet cannabis buttery scent to it. So it has a very sweet smell. You can definitely smell the butter and the cannabis in there. Kind of a fruity flavor, or scent to it. Oh, I wish I could bottle the scent and send it off to you guys. You'd love it. We're also going to be doing the root beer candies again too. Okay. We have just reached our mark. That's why the beeper went off on us. So now it's time to get this in there. Oh, I'm gonna love this. Ready? Here we go. Oh yeah, lovely. So this is, oh wow, you can smell the watermelon. Wow, wow, wow. That smells amazing. Oh my God, guys, you can smell this watermelon, something fierce. Oh, and it is red, look at this. Love, 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 love. Oh yeah, perfect. Wow. Now I have this off the heat at this point. I can add it back to the heat. Oh wow. Oh yum. So yum. A little warm, but really good. So I'm gonna throw this back on the heat for just a couple of minutes. Let you take a look at what it looks like in there. So now I want the fire off, simply because I just want to keep this warm enough. Let's go ahead and move you guys. Okay, so now I'm just going to kind of take a scoopy and I'm just going to let it drip into the little molds. And yes, it does make a mess. Hold on. And then really all I'm doing is just filling them up. One of the fun things about doing it this way, however, is that I make a whole bunch of little drips onto the pan. And then I'm going to use those little drips as decoration on other stuff. So these ones are all filled. I can move those to the back. Fill my candy thing up again. Hey Jen, how you doing, sweetie? You can also take these and put them in a bottle to make it a little bit easier. I'm trying to do this quickly, so because the candy will harden in the pot. Sorry, I'll look up here in a second. So here's this tray. Now we're going to move to the next tray. Oh my God, they smell so good. This is the first time I've used the strawberry or the watermelon recipe on this. I'm trying to get my bunny butts. So I'll probably give a few bunny butts away for Easter this year, just because bunny butts are fun. So those are the bunny butts. Oh, it has good flavor to it too. It has a really good watermelon cannabis flavor to it. So not only can you taste the watermelon, but you can taste the cannabis. Oh, yummy, yummy, yummy. Mm. Oh, I don't plan on wasting any, sweetie. You don't waste cannabis. No, no, no. Actually, all of the hairs and stuff that you see that I pull off, I will be using those in another type of candy. So all of this leftover stuff that's in here, I will still be using. See all the little strings? I love making candy. I just love cooking. I don't eat, but I like to cook. Go figure. However, I'll tell you what, as far as eating and stuff, with my eating disorder, hard candy really helps me. For some reason, it doesn't bother me to use hard candy. I don't feel like it's doing anything. I don't feel like it's hurting me, but I still use hard candy all the time. I've known several people with eating disorders that can't because their eating disorder doesn't allow them to. And by that is really simple. It's a mind over matter thing that it'll actually make them throw up when they eat something like that. So it kind of sucks. So hard candies like this help a lot. So as you'll see, when you make stuff like this, what I can do is, since it's still pliable and movable, I can actually take this and turn it into like a flower, like a rosebud, and I'll show you later. But what you do is you take your candy, you get it warm, make like a little rosebud, put a hole in here, and then you can smoke through it and still get the flavor of your candy. Oh my God, that's good. Wow. Oh yeah, I'm using this recipe again. Oh, that's really good flavoring too. So that's just as easy as it is. Then you just pick all of this up. So as you see, that's all of the fun stuff that I'll play with my candy. And that'll be for when I'm doing my Easter candies and stuff. I'll take some of these to decorate the Easter eggs and things like that for when we give it. So yummy. So it's really that simple to do these candies. They're done. I'm just going to put them in the refrigerator, let them cool off, and then I'll pop them out and show you guys what they look like. So thanks, guys. I will be back later. Have a great day. Mwah.